Jacksonville Jaguars fans, welcome into Duval Daily, presented by GenJag.com. I'm Jordan DeLugo. Thanks so much for being here. Sunday, July 27th. We've got our training camp practice number 4 recap right now. Not going to be able to do a standouts video today. It's the weekend, got family in town, so this is going to be the only one I'm able to do. This is a little bit later than normal as well. That's because we had some family lunch, getting back with the family after this, so it is what it is. We'll be back to regularly scheduled programming starting tomorrow, and the pads are coming on tomorrow. That is always an exciting day during the training camp cycle every year. But this was an exciting day as well. Sunday morning, a lot of fans out there. The team was practicing on the far side during the team drills, the far field, so not the best vantage points all the time when it comes to that, but I think that I was able to see pretty much everything I needed to see, and you had a good day. I thought that it was competitive. Both sides of the ball were bringing it. We're going to dive into everything here. We'll talk a lot about Trevor Lawrence and how he played today, a lot about how Travis Hunter played today on the defensive side of the ball. So we're going to get into all that stuff. Brian Thomas Jr., who did not have a very good practice for his standards on Friday. So excited to get into it. Really appreciate y'all being here, supporting the channel. If you enjoy the content, please like and subscribe. You can also check out genjag.com/shop, genjag.com/shop. Pick up some new Duval gear. Lots of fun stuff up on the site. You can get a hat like the one I'm wearing right now. So again, thank you so much for being here. Dennis Gardeck, Mason Smith, still working off to the side. Both guys are still on the pup. So no news there. It was cool actually before practice and throughout practice. There was a ton of high school football players there, but also the flag champions, the 14U boys flag champions Jaguars team was there, and Bryson Wright was there. So that's, that kid, unbelievable star flag football player at 14 years old, making, Sports Center, making, Patrick Mahomes is retweeting his videos, and like that was really cool. It was cool to see him there. Cool to see that team that brought home the title. Defensive drills, when we're just talking about like positional drills, you're still seeing a lot of emphasis on getting that football, whether it be intercepting the ball, punching the ball out. There is a ton of that. Still no Buster Brown, who has been out for like the last 3 days, I think. So you're seeing a lot more of Jarian Jones, a lot more of some of the younger guys that are trying to make the roster. A lot of Christian Braswell, DeAndre Prince, Zachariah McPherson continues to kind of stand out among those players that are rookies that you haven't really seen around here before, but are making plays. So that's something to keep in mind. No Patrick McCary and team. You had Chuma Edoga at right guard today, filling in for Patrick McCary, who Liam Cohen talked about Friday, had a little back spasm, but he'll be fine. There's no big issue there, but Edoga did fill in at guard. Johnny Munt was still not available at tight end. Eric Armstead, I actually saw him getting in and playing in some team 11-on-11, so it was actually very cool to see Armstead on the field on the interior with Trayvon Walker and Josh Hines-Allen out there as well. So that's obviously something you're looking forward to this year. At least I am, having all three of those guys on the field at the same time. You didn't see that enough last year. You had Trayvon Walker making a lot of plays today. You had Grant Udinski speaking after practice. You had Josh Hines-Allen speaking after practice. So we'll talk about I highly encourage, if you're a huge fan, if you're paying attention to every single training camp video that I do here, go listen to the press conferences as well. The Jaguars have them on their YouTube page. You can go listen to them. Grant Udinski, very just thoughtful, eloquent, very, very good in front of the microphone. Grant Udinski, the Jaguars offensive coordinator. But he talked about a lot of different things. I asked him about, seeing Travis Hunter on the other side of the ball. And if you haven't been paying attention, I haven't talked about it yet on here, but Travis Hunter had himself a hell of a day on defense. So I asked Grant Udinski, you've have this guy on offense for you a lot, and then you have a day like today where he's making tons of plays on the defensive side of the ball. How difficult is that for you as the offensive coordinator? And he said, yeah, it can be frustrating, but at the same time, it's like we are a team. This is a team sport. So when the defense is making good plays, that's a good thing. But yeah, go check out what Grant Udinski said. Definitely go check out what Josh Hines Allen said. He recently shared with the world his foundation that they've started. His son had pediatric cancer. He's in remission. Everything's going well, but that was a really big deal for him. And so highly encourage y'all to go check that out, support him and support in any way you can. But talking about football with Josh Hines Allen, I mean, he said a lot, and he does often when he speaks with the media. He does a great job with the media. But he talked about, I asked him as a follow-up to earlier, he had said like his goal is to break the single season sack record this year. Not the Jaguars single season sack record, because he already has that. The NFL sack record, 23. That's what he wants. He wants 23 sacks this year. I asked him, do you think this defense will allow you to maximize your pass rush and let you flourish like that? And he said, absolutely. And he talked about the coaches and the guys he plays with. He was so excited to get DeJuan Smoot back. He said he was calling him constantly, trying to get him back in Jacksonville, and they're very happy to have him because he's somebody that makes everything easier for the guys around him. So a lot of good stuff from Josh Hines Allen. I encourage y'all to go check that out. But getting into the team stuff here, just notes from throughout practice. You had De'Ami Brown with a nice run, would have picked up probably close to 10 yards. And obviously De'Ami Brown doesn't normally carry the ball, but you can imagine what that might have been. Bashal Tutin continues to show that he's a home run threat. And it's not like every play that he's a runner that unless he gets tackled, he's going to keep running in practice. Like that's just what he does. It is crazy to see how fast he can open up and just stride. And obviously that's evidenced by his 4.3 40-yard dash. But seeing it in person when he's running towards you down the field is pretty cool. He really is going to be something fun to see for Jaguars fans, I think. Jaquindon Jackson, the rookie out of Arkansas, who we've talked about a decent amount as well, undrafted free agent, probably not going to make the team. I do hope he can make the practice squad because I think he's got some talent. He had a really nice catch today. He's big, he's physical, but he's got a little bit more smoothness to him as a runner than you would expect for somebody who's like 230 plus pounds. ETN continued to look good. He had a strong run. Tank Bigsby had a really good run today as well. He had multiple good runs actually. And I'm getting to a point where I'm about ready to have a take. I want to see it in pads first, and it's not really like anything that I haven't talked about before, but I really am starting to think like Tank Bigsby and Travis Etienne are really, really talented running backs that were in a really, really bad situation before now. I think that they're both going to have really strong years. That's kind of where I'm leaning right now. I think that this Liam Cohen offense is going to allow them to both have really strong years. Jordan Lewis, another big time day. Goodness gracious. I mean, he was able to break up multiple passes today. It's the third day in a row where he's having really impressive plays and coverage. He looks great. Darnell Savage, he had a big pass breakup down the field right in front of me. Nick Mullins took a shot to Joshua Cephas. The timing just wasn't there, and Savage was able to get a big pass breakup. Eli Pankall had another catch today, so he's stacking practices where he's making an impact in teams. Christian Braswell had a pass breakup against Trenton Irwin on a Nick Mullins throw. Saw Joshua Cephas had a couple nice catches today. His best play, actually, I mean, he's had a lot of nice plays throughout camp so far, so credit to him. But to me, probably the most impressive one, even though that there's been like plays on the ball that were more impressive, he actually got Tyson Campbell today, one-on-one. And he ran a good route and got open and caught the football. He wasn't like wide open. Tyson was right there, but Tyson was pissed about it after the play too. He was like, damn, I can't believe that. But that shows, the progress Joshua Cephas is making because Tyson Campbell's been very locked down throughout camp so far. Cam Little had an active day with the kicking duties, and he was 6 of 6. So, he had a little bit of Some people are saying it's 3 of 5. Some people are saying it's 4 of 5. I'm saying it's 4 of 5 from a few days ago. Doesn't really matter. Bottom line is he was excellent today. And those kicks, none of them were close. They were all right down the middle, progressively got further and further away. 5 of those were just in a specific period where they were working on field goal. The 6th one was end of half, end of game type setting where the offense is trying to drive the ball down the field and convert, and Little was able to cap that off, so that was nice. Yeah. We'll go ahead and talk about Travis Hunter. He was unbelievable today on defense. Truly, there have not been a lot of practices I've seen where a corner has gotten hands on the football 3 times in one practice, and he did today. None of that was, one of those passes was from Trevor Lawrence to Brian Thomas Jr. in the end zone, 1-on-1, and Travis Hunter made the play. And that was about the only play that Brian Thomas Jr. didn't make today, was Travis Hunter doing a hell of a job on defense at corner. There was another play where it was a short pass. Travis Hunter broke on it, almost picked it off. I think Austin Trammell may have been the receiver there, but that was just unbelievable recognition, reaction time, all that stuff, and then go making play on the football. And then at the end of practice, he and Jalen McLeod both were there to break up a pass to end practice. It was the last opportunity for the Nick Mullins Jaguars offense to score at the end. And Jalen McLeod, great job. Travis Hunter, great job. Both of those guys were in position to make the play. Pretty cool. It was a really good back and forth practice. But I'll tell you what, this was by far Trevor Lawrence's best practice of training camp so far. He was really, really sharp today. Started out 1 of 1, complete short to ETN, who had a nice gain on that play. Next play, he took a deep shot to De'Ami Brown. Jordan Lewis was able to get that pass breakup, so he was 1 of 2. Next play, 2 of 3, complete to Brian Thomas Jr., intermediate. Next play, complete short to De'Ami Brown to get to 3 of 4. Next play, complete short to Hunter Long to get to 4 of 5. On his 6th pass attempt, LeQuint Allen actually dropped a pass, which is very surprising to see. Haven't seen him drop anything, and he's a very reliable pass catcher out of the backfield, so that's not something you're normally going to see. But it was a drop there, so Lawrence got to 4 of 6 there. And I'm just making a note about that drop. Next play was a miscommunication where Parker Washington and De'Ami Brown were both in the area. I think Parker was supposed to get close to the sideline. I can't be too specific, but I think that's what happened. They were discussing it afterwards, so that was an incompletion, 4 of 7. Next play, complete to De'Ami Brown, 5 of 8. That was short. 5 of 9, a misconnection with Brian Thomas Jr. down the field. I think that was just a little bit of a miscommunication as well. So the next play was also an incompletion, and Trevor Lawrence started getting a little frustrated after that, and then they had a little bit of a break. The other second team and stuff was able to get in, but that next play that dropped him to 5 of 10 on the day, there was immediate pressure by Foye Oluokun, and he kind of just had to get rid of the ball and completion, throwing towards Travis Etienne. The next play got to 6 of 11, complete short to Brian Thomas Jr. Next play, again, complete short to Brian Thomas Jr., 7 of 12. 8 of 13, complete short to Trenton Irwin. And that play, it was short, but I think Irwin would have been running for a while. That was a well-designed play. Then we get into that end of half situation I mentioned to y'all earlier. Got to 9 of 14 with a completion to Brenton Strange. Got to 10 of 15 with a completion to Brian Thomas Jr. 11 of 16 complete to De'Ami Brown. 12 of 17 complete to Brenton Strange again. 12 of 18 throwing towards Brian Thomas Jr. in the end zone. Travis Hunter makes the play on the ball. And then that's when Cam Little did the kick and made that. And then they went into another drill like driving the ball into the red zone from I think like just outside the red zone. Again, the vantage point was a little bit difficult there. I'm sure if you were there in the stands, you could probably see where they were a little bit better. But I think like just outside the red zone, he got to 13 of 19, a short completion to De'Ami Brown. He then had like a decent scramble, probably would have been like a 5-yard pickup. And then again, on the next play, a really nice scramble that probably would have been at least a first down plus. Very nice run, rollout by Trevor. Got to 14 of 20 on the next one, completed to Brian Thomas Jr. 14 of 21 on the next one. Danico Slaughter actually got a pass breakup covering De'Ami Brown. Danico Slaughter is another one of those young guys that has kind of made some plays for himself out there. And then he got to 15 of 22 on his last play through a touchdown pass to Brian Thomas Jr. Well-placed ball. Really good catch by Brian Thomas Jr. The focus with the hands and then the toe tapping at the back of the end zone to come down with it. So I thought Trevor Lawrence was really excellent today. And now for camp, he is 45 of 74 with 6 touchdowns, 1 interception, and 4 drops. He did have the LeQuint Allen drop today. So overall, I mean, I think Trevor is progressing really nicely. I think he's playing really well. I thought he was in command today. Really, you talk about a couple of plays where it was just like a little bit off timing and communication wise, and then a dropped pass by LeQuint Allen, and that was pretty much it. Everything else was pretty clean from Trevor, I thought, today. So really good practice all around. Travis Hunter making plays on defense. Trevor Lawrence and Brian Thomas Jr. making plays on offense. The running backs making plays on offense. I don't know what else you can ask for. It was good. Oh, and I mentioned Trayvon. Trayvon Walker had a pass batted at the line of scrimmage, which he's had several of those now. I think he also had 2 plays that would have been sacks. So a really good practice for Trayvon Walker. Pay the man. Pay the man. Really appreciate y'all being here. If you enjoy the content, please like and subscribe. Again, you can check out genjag.com/shop. Pick up some new Duval gear like the hat I'm wearing right now. Please like, comment, subscribe. Have a good one.